If you've ever poured fertilizer into your garden and still ended up with pale leaves or stunted growth, you're not alone. But there's a group of people who've quietly mastered the art of natural soil enrichment for centuries, the Amish. They don't rely on synthetic fertilizers, fancy gadgets, or lab-engineered compost teas, yet their crops thrive with vigor season after season. The secret? A powerful, time-tested practice that supercharges plant nutrient uptake at the microbial level. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because by the end of this you'll understand not only what they're doing differently, but how you can do it right now, with materials you already have in your backyard. The secret starts in the soil, not in the fertilizer. When modern gardeners think nutrient boost, they reach for a bag, something labelled with NPK. But the Amish approach starts deeper. They understand that plants don't feed directly on fertilizer. They feed through biology. The secret lies in activating the microscopic soil life that mediates nutrient exchange. The Amish learned long ago that even the richest compost is useless if the soil life isn't awake to process it. So instead of piling raw manure or store-bought compost on their fields, they inoculate the soil with what they call living starters. These are small batches of decomposed manure, leaf mould and old wood ash that have been biologically charged through controlled fermentation, essentially pre-digested food for microbes. This mix acts like a probiotic for the soil. The microbes get to work immediately, breaking down organic matter into ionic forms that plants can actually absorb through their roots. It's a living transfer, not just chemical feeding. When this biological system kicks in, nutrient uptake skyrockets, not because the soil has more nutrients, but because it's more alive. The real trick is in how they activate that microbial life. Amish farmers often say that heat wakes the soil. What they mean isn't the sun's warmth, but the biological heat created when organic matter starts fermenting. To replicate this in your own garden, start by creating a small pile of equal parts aged manure, sawdust, and a scoop of healthy garden soil. Moisten it, not soak, just enough to feel like a wrung-out sponge, and cover it loosely with an old burlap sack or breathable fabric. Let it sit for about 10 to 14 days, turning once midway through. What's happening in that time is controlled microbial activation. When it starts to smell earthy and, slightly sweet, it's ready. Just mix a few handfuls of this starter into each planting hole or, spread a thin layer over your garden beds before the rain comes. The microbes will quickly move downward, digesting minerals and freeing up nutrients that have been locked away for years. Plants grown in this living environment don't just grow faster. They resist drought, bounce back from stress, and honestly require far fewer inputs throughout the season. The Amish also rely heavily on wood ash to balance and unlock nutrients. Modern growers often underestimate the power of wood ash, dismissing it as too alkaline or perhaps old-fashioned. But to the Amish, it's truly indispensable. Properly aged hardwood ash, never mixed with plastics, paint or treated wood, contains soluble potassium, calcium and trace minerals that act as natural pH stabilizers and microbial catalysts. The key is moderation. Instead of dumping ash directly onto the soil, they blend it into compost piles or their fermented starter to buffer acidity and provide a slow mineral release. For home gardeners, a simple step-by-step version looks like this. Collect fine, clean ash from a wood stove, store it dry, and mix about 1 cup per cubic foot of compost or soil mix. Let it mature for a few weeks before applying it around plants. This creates an environment where nutrients aren't just present, they're, well, chemically available. Combined with microbial inoculation, wood ash acts like a key that unlocks the soil's vault of minerals. They treat plant roots as the communication line, not just the feeding tube. One of the most overlooked aspects of the Amish method is how they prepare transplants. Before planting, they dip roots into a slurry made of compost tea, a pinch of wood ash, and sometimes molasses. This coats the root zone with active microbes and trace minerals. The molasses provides an immediate energy source for microbial bloom, while the ash and compost tea deliver structure and nutrients. This pre-treatment acts as both armor and communication enhancer. The roots instantly connect with the soil biome, reducing transplant shock and improving nutrient exchange. You can apply this by mixing 1 cup of finished compost, 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses, and a teaspoon of clean wood ash into a gallon of non-chlorinated water. Stir, let sit for 12 hours, and use immediately as a root dip or soil drench. Gardeners who've adopted this practice report visibly stronger starts within a week. While fertilizers offer quick bursts of growth, they can burn soil microbes and degrade structure over time. The Amish method strengthens both the biology and the chemistry of the soil. Over years, their fields build self-sustaining fertility. This approach also creates a form of carbon sequestration. Microbial networks trap organic carbon within soil aggregates, improving moisture retention and buffering against erosion. The longer you practice it, the less external input you need. It's an upward cycle of health and resilience. By focusing on biology first, feeding the feeders, not just the plants, you transition from dependency to abundance. It's a system rooted in patience and observation, not products and promises. You don't need acres of land or livestock. A simple backyard setup is enough. Start a microbial starter pile this week. Use compost tea on your next transplant. Add a touch of ash into your compost. Keep those small microbial fires burning, and your garden will build itself stronger with every season. You'll start to notice deeper greens, longer root systems, and fewer pest problems, because your soil isn't just growing plants, it's growing power. The Amish have shown that great soil isn't built in a bag. It's cultivated through living relationships. Their approach reminds us that the secret to nutrient uptake isn't about quantity, but connection. Once you understand that, you're not just gardening, you're participating in the same biological symphony that's kept their farms thriving for generations. If this guide gave you something to think about, or something to try, then make sure to subscribe to Hydrohaven for more deep dives into living soil wisdom. Share this with a fellow grower who's ready to step beyond fertilizer and start working with nature, not against it.